Hello, everybody. Good afternoon on this lovely, cloudy, gray day or whatever. But I just want to share a story, real quick. Basically, of just a little part of my life. I call it my daily journal. Um, just kind of little a daily blog I do. I guess you can call it like a daily blog or something or whatever. Um, um, Basically, I just want to share a little bit with you about my time growing up in foster care. It was I wouldn't say it wasn't a great experience at all. But I'll start off with the positive, then go with the negative, and then from the positive, go from there. So basically, my childhood started off as most childhoods would start. Um, I was, your typical kid, typical child. Um, I had my ups and downs with my quote unquote family. As a child, we're not going to always behave. We're going to do things that we should not do. So I feel that parents or guardians, whoever that's raising them or watching over these children, should know that kids will be kids. um, I would never even dream of sending your child or your particular loved one off to the freaking foster care system. That is wrong and it's not right and it shouldn't be. As parents are so quickly to give up on their children. I vowed for that particular day. From that day on, I said, you know what? I tell everybody, parents, whoever, do not give up on your kids. Stick with them through it all. They're gonna get through it. They're gonna be okay. It's gonna. Um, I spent most of my life. I spent most of my life, of course, in the foster care system until I was 18. Unfortunately, like most children, a lot of kids basically were being adopted. Unfortunately, I was unable to be adopted. I'm not going to go too far into my personal or not too far into my past, but I will let you know that it was a learning experience and it taught me a lot about myself. It basically taught me uh, that that through trials and tribulations or whatever we may go through in life, that it does get better. And sometimes I always say this: in our darkest moments, that's when our light truly shines. Um, due to the experience I went through in the foster care system, it was it was turbulent. Most of them are in it for the money. They get paid X amount of thousands of dollars per child. I was basically in that bracket for us the children in the home or children in the home. Um, um, we was basically numbers. We were dollar signs. Whenever those paychecks come in, baby, they were happy as cake. But oftentimes, what basically is not mentioned or ever seen is the abuse. I'm 41 years old now. I'm a grown man. But to talk about it, sometimes for some people, it's almost like reliving the experience um, in the foster care system. I often share my stories now with people, loved ones, family, friends, college coworkers, and those that want to hear it. Maybe help them come forward and speak about their pain if they ever was in the foster care system or ever even was or whatever. But I share my story to bring to light the injustices that the children faced in foster care, the abuse, the how the case workers and social workers um, would come to check on us every so often. I remember this one lady in particular. She was a caseworker or whatever, social worker, whatever, and she would come visit us, check on us at the house, wherever house we was, but they never gave a fuck about us. Excuse my language. If you don't like this video, you might as well go to another video because it's going to be raw and uncut. Because now I'm really about to I'm really about to express myself because a lot of this is making me. A lot of it was was complete. Was a lot of it was a complete nightmare, but for the most part, a lot of the families that took their children in, they weren't for these children. They were in it for the money. And I often tell people that make sure that if you do send your children off to foster care, make sure you keep up with them. You check on them from time to time. You let them know, hey, I'm still here. I'm your mom. I'm your dad, or I'm your guardians. I'm still here for y'all. Do not give them up to the system and leave them there. I was left there. Didn't nobody come check on me. I had a few times where my uncle and them checked on me a couple times. Years later, I learned, and I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive myself. I had a lot of anger and resentment towards all my family. Years later, I learned that they were trying to come. He was trying to get me up out of there. He was trying to get me back from the state. I had no idea. I was angry for a lot of years, which was understandable. They couldn't subject that. Um, I was placed in over a dozen homes from the time I was age 8 up until maybe about 13 or 14, maybe a little bit more in the years. I don't remember having a childhood. I remember having a semi-childhood. I remember going to the amusement parks. I remember going to the parks. I remember water slides. I remember all that. That part of, for some reason, my mind is not able to comprehend or even think about that things. My mind was focused on the negative stuff because I remember the good times and I also remember the bad times, which we as people always do. I remember them taking us places, going to amusement parks, lakes, rivers, you name it, as children and of course teenagers. But one thing I always emphasize is that always make sure that if you do send your children off to foster care, make sure you check on. I don't care if it's every week or once a month or whatever the case. We need to know those people or those particular foster parents or whoever the state left custody, whoever the state left custody with foster parents, y'all need to make sure that you check on them kids once a week or once a month. Nobody checked on me till later down. Oftentimes when parents do that, it's out of guilt. I told him, I said, you will never have my kids in no foster care, in no freaking foster home and stuff. And most of those parents and most of those people that take in are in it for the money. You know what I'm saying? And and so that's what it is, you know. And so I'm like, this can't be. And so I went through all the abuse. I went through the constant changing of homes. I went through it all. I went through it all. Nobody checked on me. Nobody did nothing till later down the road. And then after that, that even stopped. I don't know, guys, but it's so much I really want to say. Oh, they don't let you find a job till you're almost quote unquote 18, until you're almost out the system or quote unquote out the foster care system. I got a job. I remember getting a job. I do remember having employment, quote unquote employment, but they don't let you start working till right when you're about close to your 18. At that point, once they kick you out, you system, wherever you go, you go. I was about to be homeless. Thankfully, by God's grace, the family I was living with allowed me to stay a little bit longer. By God, for a whole year. Oftentimes I was with families maybe 3 to 6 months, maybe almost a year. Thankfully, they allowed me to stay a little bit longer. Till after when the state declared me a legal adult, I was no longer part of the foster care system in California. But I went through complete hell. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos of children who are now adults who went through the foster care system and went through complete hell. It was horrible. It was horror, complete terror. And I'm speaking that lightly, and this is no exaggeration. The abuse, the neglect, it was oftentimes we didn't know what new clothes was. To go into a department store and pick out your clothes, that was a luxury for most of us. And that's when they even do, or even when they also go into these department stores or whatever the case may be. I didn't know what new clothes was. Every school year, bling. I'm talking about. You ever heard the terminology bling bling? You hear how these kids dress real nice going to school nowadays. I'm talking about every school year, right when September hit. Oh, guess what? The latest shoes, the latest shirts, the latest clothes, the latest jeans. Oh my God, I was dressed to death. But guess what? It wasn't my doing. It was the fact that I spoke up about a lot of stuff now, and then I think I'm going to join an advocacy. It's called an advocacy group. I'm going to join a group where it speaks about the injustices of the foster care system. I'm going to go ahead and rejoin this group. It's an amazing group, and it definitely you're with a lot of people. You're with a lot of adults who were once foster. Definitely it's definitely a self-help, self-group, self-therapy, whatever you want to call it. It helped me, and they got a lot of local. I don't know about here in Beaumont, but I know back in Houston, they have a lot of chapters in Houston, and I mean, it's an hour long, it's 2 hours, maybe 3 hours long. Everybody going there. It's a group session. It's incredible. There's prayer, there's faith, and we just start talking about our experiences, and it's definitely allows you to grow, and definitely shows you or how we are overcomers in whatever faced or have faced back in that time. And so I definitely suggest all those that's watching my video, like, share, comment. Definitely like, share, comment, hit that notification button. And I'll be posting another live video tonight. So please stay tuned for that. Again, this is part 1 of me growing up in the foster care system. Again, thank you all so much for watching. Bye-bye. I think I did it pretty well.